Hi, I'm Jeff, Customer Success Manager at Gopin Leads, here to walk you through our webinar this afternoon. I'm going to wait a few moments just for a few more viewers to join us. Our topic today is growing outbound sales with Gopin Leads. Before we begin, I want to encourage those of you who are watching on the Goodman Lantern Gopin Leads website to click through, launch the video you're watching now into YouTube itself. Watch the video in YouTube itself, and that way you'll have a chat bar on the right-hand side where you can interact with me. I'll show you that right now. Seems it was a small glitch there, as these things do sometimes happen. Let me just get you a screen grab, and that way we won't be doing duplicate screens. Okay, so on the right-hand side of your screen, you will see that you have a chat section over here where you can interact with me during the session. Feel free to ask questions there. I will be referring to that as we go along. Let's move into our course. So today we need to talk about growing your email marketing skill. And this is something that you're going to be using a lot while you're growing your business. And I say this because email is almost 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter combined in helping a business acquire new customers, which means that cold email campaigns are absolute gold for your business. I'm going to go through this presentation with you, after which I'll open for questions. Any questions that you've asked during the presentation, I will go into and answer for you. The important thing to remember is that email marketing boasts a median return on investment of 122%. Email prospecting is, as we've said, probably the highest ROI for any marketing channel. It'll cost you no more than a few dollars a month and offers one of the fastest results possible. The only thing holding most of you back will be that you don't know how to use emails effectively. Some of you in this course may know very well how to use emails, and you're just looking for some pointers on how to brush up and improve. The growth marketing process is extremely iterative. This means you'll be doing the same thing over and over again until you learn what works and what doesn't work for your business and your message. You'll want to start small in your local area. You want to test everything that you do. Take note of if an email campaign has worked or if it hasn't. Make notes of which subject lines work the best, which copy works the best. Measure your success at every turn. You want to know absolutely what you've done that hasn't worked and perhaps has gotten you some hate mail responses. What has made people unsubscribe, but what has also made people go ahead and click through to the link that you've provided. Learning from your mistakes is part of the game here. You will make mistakes, you will mess things up, and that is all par for the course. What you need to remember is that it's all right as long as you remember the lessons that you've learned from your mistakes and as well from your successes. This will help you replicate past successes and avoid problems that you may have run into in the past. When you've reached the end of your growth marketing process, it's time to always start over again immediately, get back on the horse, and make the second round, third round, fourth round even better than the last. You need to get a few things clear in your head before you go ahead and write your emails. First and foremost, you need to plan your offer in depth. You need to ask some difficult questions. Think about your message, think about your offer. The first question you need to ask is, will it interest them? If your offer or your service or your product is not going to interest the person you're emailing, you're wasting their time as well as yours. It's better to re-establish who exactly you should be emailing and focus in on them. Make sure that the people that you're emailing are interested in what you're emailing them about. You need to have a clear view of what your product or service is worth before you write your email. This gives you confidence. This gives you a good, solid foundation from which to sell your product or service. And it makes you seem like the authority, even if some of you may not feel like you are at this stage. This conveys that confidence that you need to get people on board. Be prepared for difficult questions. Why is your service, why is your product valuable? You will encounter people who ask you these questions, but more than that, it's important that you know these answers for yourself. It positions you in a great way to go ahead and sell more effectively and communicate your message a lot easier. The key thing here is that none of this should cost you very much, if any. Here are some great ideas to get your creativity flowing with your email process. The first thing I want to mention here is your content. I want you to think of a hot, burning topic that is relevant to your reader. Pick on something that motivates them. It could be a pet peeve, it could be an industry trend, it could be a trending topic at the moment, but use your persuasive power in the form of intrigue and in the form of interest. That is the most powerful way that you'll get your message across. Your content has to turn heads. They're going to have to want to read your email more than once. People are busy in the day, and if you lose their interest, they won't open your email again. A great thing to do here as well is to include a joke. A bit of humor goes a long way. It helps to make people realize that you are on their side and that you're not just after the hard sell. In the end, the ideal situation is to get repeat clients and build a healthy relationship, and it makes sense to start doing that at the first stage. Another way to make people remember you is to invite them to join your community. Start a Facebook group. Make sure that it is very focused. Make sure that you have a message, make sure that you have a purpose for being there, and attract like minded people, industry specific people within your target market. And what this will do is it'll make a presence for your company that they'll want to interact with if you do it in the right way. A great way to go ahead as well is to offer a free trial. Free trials are worth their weight in gold. It gives people a sense of how your service operates, what it includes, your turnaround times, and what you'll like to deal with as a business. Without this, it can be very tricky for people to commit to long contracts or subscriptions. Essentially, building a trust factor by offering them a free experience and having faith in your product and your service is where it's at these days. You need to make sure that you can stand behind your product. Webinars like the one you're watching today is also a really good way to go. Chances are that you know things that your clients need to know. There's information that you may take for granted that may be worth its weight in gold to your clients. So, a great way to build loyalty is to offer them that information free. There's very little um, outlay on the side of the business doing the offering. It's just a bit of a time investment, but at the end of the day, that's worth it if you are uplifting your community and you're taking the people with you to the top. At the end of the day, people are moving away from the traditional buyer purchaser paradigm, and it's becoming a lot more to do with relationships and consistency of service. Event invitations are a really good way to go. These can be exclusive online events, these can be face to face events, these can be person to person, these can be group events as well. It depends on what you're trying to achieve and what you would like your viewers or your clients to get out of the experience. It takes a lot of thought, a lot of planning, and a lot of marketing to get right, but it is a fantastic way to get people on side. Another popular tactic is to offer a digital gift. For example, a database, but remember that this has to be valuable. The latest buzzword online is to make sure that you're offering your clients value, but many people lose track of the fact that you have to make sure that that value that you're delivering is actually valuable to your client. If you are offering something that you believe is of value, but your client gets no value from, there's a miss there. Your digital gift needs to make their life easier. It needs to make sure that they can get some form of return on investment from it, even though there's no outlay on their side. Your free digital gift needs to be something that will revolutionize their day and make them remember you. Another way to go is to offer a top 100 list. Top 100 lists come in many different shapes and forms depending on the industry and the focus of the list itself. There's very many lists out there, 100 top celebrities in various genres. There's 100 top earners in various different companies in different industries and top companies as well. Top 100 lists of influencers can go a long way. Essentially, a list makes people's lives a lot easier. It's something they can refer back to, something that they can bookmark, and something that they can get value from on a repeated basis over time. And that helps them remember you as well. Another fantastic way that you can get people to think about you every day is to offer a 30-minute free consultation. This really puts your time and your money where your mouth is, and it gives people that sense of trust, that sense of familiarity, because at the end of the day, they've met you, they know where you're coming from, and they get a sense of the energy that you conduct your business with. Free consultations don't cost a lot of time, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, but the value that they return to your company and the bolstering that they do to your overall message to the client and the sense of comfort that they derive from that is worth its absolute weight in gold. Okay, we're going to jump straight into the process here that's going to take us to the more practical end of this course. The first thing that you're going to want to do is find email addresses. And then you're going to want to look at your drafting of your emails and creating email templates. These email templates will point to your landing page, which is the fourth step. Development of a landing page is often seen as a highly complicated process, but I'm going to show you two great tools you can use to make it work. One in particular is fantastic, but they're both great. Analyze the data. Always analyze the data that you get from your email campaigns, that you get from your landing page. Always make sure that you understand what happened at every stage of your process. This will allow you to keep total control over your campaign and make sure that you know at every step of the way what you need to be doing. As always, this is an iterative process. That means rinse and repeat, do it again. Start at step one and follow the processes through. Repeating the process over and over again will make you an absolute consummate professional at running these email campaigns, and you'll learn very quickly on a daily basis what has worked and what hasn't worked. You're empowering yourself through learning while also getting leads. It's a win-win scenario for you doing it this way. All right, let's have a closer look at these processes, each step one by one. The first step is to find email addresses. This is the absolute backbone of everything you're going to be doing. If you have email addresses that are accurate, that are actionable, that are relevant, that's going to be all the better for you. We have a fantastic tool called GoPinLeads. Some of you know it, some of you don't. If you don't, go ahead to www.gopinleads.com after this webinar and check it out. But for now, let me tell you a bit more about it. GoPinLeads came about because we had a client who needed in-depth leads across an entire country, needed them to be real, needed them to be relevant, needed them to be accurate, and they needed them very quickly. So what we did to reduce the turnaround time on that project and to reduce the amount of money spent on the project, to save our client a bit more money, we developed a tool to make sure that we could do this rapidly. Enter GoPinLeads. GoPinLeads returns company and individual emails, phone numbers, employee job titles, social media accounts, and company addresses. It gives you everything that you need to make sales to brick and mortar businesses in a B2B capacity. Finding businesses to sell to is really easy using this tool. I'm going to move on to the next step, but I'll show you in depth after this how this tool works and how it's going to help you run your campaigns very quickly and very easily. The next step that you're going to want to approach is setting up your email. We use a fantastic tool called YAM. YAM stands for Yet Another Mail Merge. It's a brilliant add-on for your Google Suite working with your Gmail drafts and your Google Sheets to automate your mail merge process. This patches in fantastically with GoPin leads, and I'll show you that in the practical demonstration after this presentation. You can use your own domain or create a new one. So what you do is go to yet-another-mail-merge.com and sign up. Their free account gives you 50 emails a day that you can go ahead and action. It also gives you amazing tools to measure your campaign and to make sure that you understand absolutely every aspect of your results. Your next step is to create an email template. There are a few things you can do here to make sure that you are doing this effectively and memorably. First of all, your subject line should be brief and vague. This creates intrigue and makes it more likely that people will open your email, which is what you want in the first place. Next, decide on what your message is. This should be very clear in your mind because that gives you great impetus for writing the email, as well as giving you clarity in your message and making it succinct. Nobody wants to read a long, complicated email. The tone should be as if from a friend. Write in a familiar tone, be friendly, crack a joke. Jokes never hurt, makes people remember you, and can brighten a gloomy Monday if you time it just right. Keep your emails as short as possible. Rather keep it short and punchy and memorable than drown people in information from the get-go. Remember that the goal of your email should always take the forefront. Include the link to your landing page. This will make sure that people have it really easily, readily available. Include what the link leads to. You can use a text-based link, use an image-based link, whatever you feel looks the best for your product, your service, and your message. You can get really deep into your emails and make them look amazingly professional by following a few extra steps, and it is worth the effort because it'll increase your response rate. Include a banner. Make it professional, make it have your logo on there, your message, and any relevant imagery that supports your cause. Next, you'll want to localize your business. Essentially, this means including an address and telephone numbers for your relevant locations. This is absolutely vital. Remember also that every email that you send could be better. Develop variations, test and measure the responses that you get. Some people will be angry, some people will laugh, some people will unsubscribe. And there's something you can learn from each and every one of those reactions. None of those is a lost response. It helps you to make your message potent for next time. Include an unsubscribe option. It's polite and it makes people trust you. If you don't have it, it raises alarm bells and it seems spammy. In many areas of the world, it's also illegal. Graphic or link based links are amazing. So if you have a picture, you can use the picture to send out a link. If you want to rather have it text based, as with the telephone numbers and the unsubscribe text here, that is also relevant in some situations. Pay attention to the dimension of your email. Make sure that everything lines up well, is perfectly aligned. Make sure your formatting is on point and that you have spaces where relevant to break up the bulk of your text. It makes it more easily readable and makes sure that people can understand what your message and your final small text is. Absolutely critical to any email campaign is the follow-up. Do one follow-up mail per campaign. Of course, respect those who have unsubscribed or replied indicating that they are not interested. Remove them before you send the follow-up. Remind them about the deadline. Deadlines are absolutely critical because it gives you a sense of urgency. Urgency sells. Provide them with a follow-up link in the follow-up email. Again, sign-up links are absolute gold because it makes it a lot easier, a lot more direct, and also gives you a great indicator of the success of your email campaign. And you'll see why in the practical section of this, because YAM tracks all of these responses for you. Step 4 is creating your landing page. Your landing page is the most potent place that you're going to get turnaround on your ROI. So what you're looking at here is using a tool such as LaunchRock or Instapage to create a landing page that'll act as a sales conduit. What you want to do is include an introduction. This introduction should be relevant to your business, your message, and what you want people to do from this point onward. Call to actions are important. Cohesivity is important. A really great way to get attention and to gain trust on a grassroots level is to include a testimonial. Adding a photograph, a name, a company title, and a quote makes your testimonials absolutely potent and makes people understand that your product is real, relevant, and working for other people. Here we touch back on the deadline, creating urgency or a sense of FOMO, the fear of missing out. This is one of the most terrible forces for some people. They have the most crippling fear of missing out, and what we want to do is play on that. Urgency sells. Include a countdown to the deadline on your landing page. This creates visual urgency and makes people think about you more often as they have to go forward. Include a form that captures name, email, and telephone number. You can ask for first name, last name if you wish. Some people only ask for first name, but it depends on what you require for your specific campaign. Step 5 is data analysis. This is that amazing part of the YAM tool that analyzes your data and displays it to you. I'll show you this as we go along. What you want to do is go into your database or go on to yet another mailmerge.com, the link for which I'll supply again later at the end of the lesson in the comments. YAM will indicate the number of sent messages, the number of opened messages, and the number of clicked links out of those emails. To view this in YAM, go to Add-ons, YAM, and Open Tracking Report, and that is from your Excel. I'll show you how to do that in the practical section of this webinar. Step 6, as always in this iterative world of cold emailing, is to repeat. What this entails is not simply a copy paste, but remembering the results you've gotten, analyzing those, figuring out what was your most successful subject line, what was your most successful email copy, and then refining your emailing targets by trying new sectors, new geographies, new job titles. Talk to different people in different places who are involved with different things to make sure that you're covering all of your bases at all times. Offer new incentives within new emails and new landing pages. If you are consistently giving away the same thing over and over again, that doesn't help anybody. It makes you seem stale, stagnant, and like you haven't much to offer. Giving them new, exciting stuff with new emails and new landing pages will keep you relevant, keep you top of mind, and make people realize what a professional you and your team are. Change the banners within the email. That'll make sure that your campaigns have a fresh feeling to them and make sure that that stagnation is totally avoided at every step. This brings us to the end of the presentation section of the webinar. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through some of the practical aspects of our course. Before I go ahead and do that, anyone has any questions, please go ahead and ask them as we go, and I will, of course, answer them as we go along. So I'm having a look at the questions now. Maisie Rafferty, where does the static come from? The statistic come from that email is 40% more effective than Facebook and Twitter. That comes from our research team who have conducted in-depth analysis of the different platforms. And essentially that will give us a really good idea of what is working right now. My pleasure, Maisie. Dave McCormick, is there a requirement in the UK for GDPR for email marketing? And how do you get around this if so? So, Dave, that is quite a complicated topic, GDPR. The best way for you to get a real good handle on that is to join our communities on Facebook. I'll send you those links in the comments section after this webinar. And as Raj says as well there, his answers are extremely helpful. Raj is, of course, the chief of Goodman Lantern. Now, what is also very important to note here is that our communities have all of our professionals in them, ready and waiting to assist you when you need it. Our community is very knowledgeable, and it's a great place to grow your knowledge base. So that's all the questions I have here in the YouTube page. If you are still watching on the Gopin Leads website, what you need to do is launch that embedded video out into YouTube, and that'll allow you to interact and ask questions in the comment section. It'll also allow you to access the links to our Facebook communities and the other links that I'll be sending at the end of the course. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the practical aspects of Gopin Leads and walk you through how quick and easy it is to actually use the tool to make sure that you're using all the tips that we've just gone through. On your screen now, you will see the Gopin Leads homepage. You can access this by going to app.gopinleads.com. I've already signed in. That you will be able to do when you come to this page. Insert your credit card details and off you go. Once you've done that process and you've reached this page, we're going to do our first search to find some leads. For example, this time I'm going to ask the app to find me restaurants in Miami. I'm choosing Miami Beach, Florida, and off it goes. Really, very quickly, what you'll find is a list of businesses. You have the option to select all of these using the button here on the left-hand side. Have a look through the results. If there's anyone you want to omit from your results, just deselect their radio button. I'm going to choose everyone for the sake of this example. Here's a map on the right-hand side where you can see their physical locations. You can also use Control and Zoom with your mouse scroll wheel to get a closer look. I pressed Add Businesses, and it brings me through very rapidly to the page here that shows the leads. I've added the businesses, and now I'm about to add the leads. Once again, observe the information here, the leads that you have, and feel free to deselect anything that you don't want to include. The Load More bar at the bottom will give you access to even more results. I've selected 24 results, and I'm going to select Add Leads. My email address is detected from my sign-up process, and I press Export Businesses and Leads. Now, message comes up saying it was successful, and the process can take about 10 minutes to come through. Usually is a lot quicker than this. In the meantime, you may have noticed on the front page that we also have a Chrome extension. When you click on Install Chrome extension, you'll come through to the Chrome Web Store. I've already added Gopin Leads to my Chrome, but this is where the button would be for you to do it if you have not done so yet. The Chrome add-on works with Google Maps. Very much in the same way as the web app works, you'll want to conduct a search. In this case, I'm going to stick with the restaurants theme, and I'm going to ask it for restaurants near New York, USA. You can move the map around to get to the specific area you want, and of course, zoom in and zoom out as required. Your add-on will be visible in the top right-hand section of your Chrome, depending, of course, on how your Chrome is set up. Clicking on Gopin Leads will pull the information from Google Maps through to the extension. Once again, I'm going to choose Select All, but you always have the option to deselect anyone that you don't want to include. The next step is to press Add Businesses. As with the web app, this now brings up a list of leads. I'm going to once again choose Select All, and I'm going to add the leads across. Once again, my email address has been detected, and I'm informed as to how many results will be emailed through to me. By pressing Export, the list gets sent through to your email. That, in short, brings us to the end of how to use the Gopin Leads web app and how to use the Gopin Leads Chrome extension to get leads really quickly and really easily. It's a very good way to go and do that. So in my email already, I have the list of restaurants. This is how it looks when it comes to you. Generally, as I said, takes less than 10 minutes. It is that quick. You'll notice that you can download the results. If you look just below that, you can view this in Google Sheets. And this is where it becomes extremely fast, extremely efficient, and plugs straight into Yam. Opening it in Google Sheets will give you your database that you have selected. On the bottom, on your tab section, you have businesses that we have selected to pull through, and we have the leads section. Now, this is very helpful to note. We have the first name of our leads here. We have the last name, business names, job titles, email addresses, LinkedIn. Now, over here, we have all of the details again in a business format. And over here, I'm going to once again open in Google Sheets. And this opens once again to restaurants that we have requested. And this is in the Miami area. And this is the one that we did first from the web app. Once again, you'll see that you have a businesses tab and a leads tab, where you have the email addresses, you have the name, the first name. You also have another tab, leads with no names. And this is where I'm going to focus on today. The important thing here is to retain the integrity of the original database that was sent through. I like to make a copy. You go to File, in Sheets, go to File and make a copy. And I like to just keep calling it copy of restaurants. Really easy to find and really easy to tell the difference between which I'm working with. Creating a copy is very fast. I'm going to go back to my leads with no name section. And in order to make Yam work with this, all you need to do is delete this first line. Now, let's talk about Yam. Yam stands for yet another mail merge, like I said. Yet dash another dash mail dash merge.com. When you've installed Yam, it integrates with your Google Sheets and your Gmail drafts in the following way. Go to Add-ons and choose yet another mail merge, which will have appeared once you've done the install process. Then what you'll want to do is choose Start Mail Merge. Once you press that, it'll connect with your Google Drafts, which we have prepared in advance. So here we can see the webinar draft for our emails. So we're going to be emailing this list, and we're going to be using the sheet that is the tab with no name, leads with no names. And we want to include a bit of personalization here. So we want to include the business name. So in our draft, we use this particular type of bracket, and we include within them business name. I call them a curly bracket because I don't know any better. And within them, you do a double, and within them, you have business name. So email will start, hi, business name. And because this is just for the webinar, I haven't got a real copy within here. This is a test email from the webinar. Cold emailing is an awesomely productive way of growing your business. Click here to start today with GoPin Leads. Book a call with me to learn more. Now, our sheet over here is going to talk to that draft. That draft is going to be accessed by going to, once again, add-ons, yet another mail merge, and start mail merge. You'll see the working little bar at the bottom. And really, quite quickly, Yam loads through. Sometimes there may be a small error. Let me just get around that. What I'm doing is doing the duplication process very quickly again. Seems there was a corruption when I did that. It can happen sometimes, and all I do is just do it again. Going back to my leads with no name section and remembering always to remember this top section. The first row, delete it completely away. Make sure that your first row is your heading row, and after that, your business name and emails start, remembering that we're on the leads with no name tab. Tabs can be accessed at the bottom of the sheet in the left-hand corner. So we're going to go to yet another mail merge from the add-ons tab and start the mail merge. Really very quickly, Yam kicks into gear and joins your Gmail drafts with your selected sheet. Choose the name, the subject rather, of your email. In this case, webinar draft. If you don't see it, hit refresh and it's sure to pop up. Include tracking of emails opened, clicked, or bounced. Make sure that this is checked. And then we can send the 40 emails, delay the delivery with a paid account, or receive a test email, which is what I'm going to do in this case, because I don't want to send these people a test message. As you can see, Yam is working to send those messages through, which has now happened. Our test message has been received into our Gmail. And this is what it will look like. You can see that our company name that we are approaching has been pulled through. Hi, Poseidon Seafood Restaurant. This is test email for the webinar. And you can see that the business name has been replaced with our code matching the column in our sheet. It really is that quick. It really is that easy. Before I take more questions, I'm going to pull through to LaunchRock just to show you the URL there, www.launchrock.com. Great platform for your landing pages, really very good user interface and proper tools that will give you the edge for sure. It is one of the ones that we prefer using. That brings me to the end of the practical section of the webinar. I'd like to encourage you to ask any questions that may have occurred to you during that time that I was giving you the run through on GoPin That will enable me to make sure that you get the most out of this webinar. Okay, let's have a look through the questions. Thanks to our chief Raj A for holding down with the Q&As while I've been presenting. Very cool to see. If anyone has any further questions, please go ahead and ask them now. Maisie, if you do receive any leads that don't have an email, normally you won't be credited for those. Occasionally, of course, glitches do happen. And if this does occur to you, let us know and we'll of course make sure that you get your credits for those. We will never charge you for something that is useless to you, and we always want to make sure that you are taken care of. Thank you for all of your comments so far. That has been absolutely fantastic. Does anyone have any further questions before I close the session? I'm going to allow a couple of moments for anyone else to chime in if they need to. Very good question there, Maisie. Thank you for that. So let's have a look. If we pop back into our draft, all we'll need to do is change from business name. And to know what to change to, we'll go away from here and we'll go to our leads page. Here we have a first name section. So all you'll want to do to be absolutely sure is copy the title there, go through to your email and paste it in. What that'll make sure happens is that your first name field gets replaced with their first name. So if we go back here and we run Yam again, I'm going to do a test email to myself once again, and you'll see that we've replaced the business name now with Manuel's first name. And for option 2, Bolivar, and onwards and onwards. I'm going to press receive test email. We never want to spam people. We always want to make sure we're taking care of people that we're emailing in the best way possible. Here's my webinar draft again, and you can see that the name has been changed from Manuel. I see there seems to be a problem with the screen sharing. Let me just make sure that that's happening again. Okay, so let me quickly pop through that again. So here we on our draft have originally business name. Now, we want to replace that with the first name. So what we're going to do is pop through to our database here. Remember the tabs on the bottom left-hand corner. We were in the leads with no name section. We're now moving through to the leads section of the results. Now, if we want to address the recipient by their first name, the easiest, quickest way to do that is to copy and paste the title in the first column, which is first name. Go through to your draft and insert that through. Keeping the brackets in place, the double curved brackets, you want to put first name as it is in the sheet. Then when you go through here, you want to start your mail merge. Now, because I did this just a moment ago when my screen was not being shared, it might ask me if I'm sure that I want to repeat the action, which is just a protection that occurs. In this case, it didn't happen because I only sent the test email, but if you had sent it off to all of the recipients in the list, it would have given you the. Now I'm going to send the test email through, and that when it comes through to us will look like this. The name will be replaced. You won't see company name anymore, and it'll say, as per your draft, first name of the recipient. Let me know if that answers your question, Maisie. I hope my screen share came through that second time. I'm going to wait another couple of moments, another 5 minutes, to see if anyone else has any more questions. and then we can move forward and close the session. Remember as well that we do these sessions going forward every Wednesday, same time, same place. Learn more every week. Refresh your memory, tell your friends, get them involved, get them on this. Get your sales team involved. Using these webinars can help you as a great training resource for your sales teams. It can help you to get all of your people clued up on these tools and how to use them. Thank you for your question there, Maisie. I'm glad you could see the screen the second time around. So, Maisie, your question there is quite interesting. So, with permissions requirements, as far as I understand, you're talking about companies that use some form of mail screening protocols. Usually, in my experience, when using this approach, you get a message from that person's screening provider. And what that will do is it'll allow you to indicate that you yourself aren't a spammer, because any responses that these people send to your emails, any replies or any auto replies from screening services will come to your inbox. So you'll have the opportunity to interact with those and ensure that you're not marked as spam in that scenario. Any response that you do get from these people, I mean, these responses will be varied as well. Some people will say in email form, I'm not interested, please remove me. That you would do manually. Some will hit the unsubscribe option, and then others further still will click your email link, which is obviously the best case scenario. And others may simply read it and navigate away. You never know what's happening there. It could be a busy day, it could be poor content. Bearing in mind that in that scenario, they've opened the email, so your subject line could be a winner. If your opening rates are good, your subject's probably all right. If your click through rate is good, your content's probably appealing. If it's not so good, you'll be able to get a sense in that way of where the breakdown in communication is. Okay. It looks to me at the moment like those are all the questions that are coming through. I want to thank you all for your time today, for joining us. Remember, we do this every week going forward, same time, same place next week. Join us. We look forward to having you. Tell your colleagues, tell your friends. Let's get people making money as quickly as possible. Just before I disappear, I'm going to give you those links to our Facebook communities, and that'll enable you to join us and really absorb from the knowledge pool that we have going on there. We have a very knowledgeable community. There you have the two links, the first one to the GoPin Leads community on Facebook, and the second to the Sales Leads and prospecting group that we have on Facebook. Feel free to go ahead and use these to your heart's content. We are always there for you, as is our community. It's a very safe, very happy place, and it's very supportive as well. Really great. I'm also going to give you the link through to Yam for those of you who aren't using it just yet. The link through to Launch Rock is also very helpful. And last but of course not least, I'm going to give you the link through to the GoPin Leads web app, as well as the location in the Chrome extension store. There you go. Thank you, Maisie. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody that's come through and joined us. Sick Dub Flow. Absolutely love the name. I'm sure you've got some absolute bangers in your music collection. And I will see you all again and your colleagues and friends next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic day.